What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to teach you smart money reversal pattern. This particular reversal pattern is the pattern I use in identifying trading opportunity. The only difference is that I refine my zones I see on the higher time frame down to the 4 hours time frame or the 2 hours time frame. But in today's video I'm going to show you this reversal pattern, how it looks like on the higher time frame. Okay, this is what I'm going to show you in this video. So what does this pattern looks like? Firstly, what we want to see is a liquidity sweep. So this is price forming a high. Here is the pullback and price sweeps the liquidity above this high. So you can mark this out as a liquidity sweep. Now after the sweep, what do we see? We see price push to the downside. We have a market structure shift. So when we get the market structure shift, you know this is on the daily time frame. So this candle that swept the liquidity above the high, this is the point of interest you're going to look at. Okay, so you're going to wait for price to come back to this particular point of interest, mitigate this zone, and we're going to get a push to the downside. This is how it looks on the daily time frame, and the same thing goes for a bearish market. That is when you want to look for a bearish opportunity where we see price forms a low, a pullback, and a sweep of that low, then a shift in market structure. So mapping them out, here is the sweep of liquidity, price taking the liquidity below this low, and here we have the market structure shift over here, seeing price shifting in structure. So the series of candle that swept that liquidity is our zone, and from here this is the point of interest we're looking at. And what is our expectation? Our expectation is that price is going to come, mitigate this zone, and a continuation to the upside. Now one thing you should notice that the liquidity sweep should be very rapid. Okay, once price sweeps the liquidity below the low, we want to see the rapid move to the upside that's going to cause this shift in market structure. So for this example, if we see price moving for a very long time, okay, after price sweeps this liquidity that is taking this low, and we see a very long move to the downside before we start seeing this shift, most times I would like you to avoid this. Okay, when price moves for a very long time without retracing to give us a shift in the structure, I will advise you to avoid that kind of movement. Okay, so let's see some examples right here. This is GBPJPY price chart. So from what you can see, price is in an uptrend and we have a high right here. This is the most recent high from what you can actually see. Now playing price forward, what we see is that we have a pullback. Now we see price push to the downside, a valid pullback, and now we get a sweep of that liquidity. So this is a very valid one. Okay, if I try to zoom in so you can see what we have here clearly, what you can actually see is that we have a wick right here and price sweeps the high. And what you should notice is that this bearish candle here is another block. Okay, you see this bearish candle, this is another block, and what we see most times is price coming back to mitigate this order block and a continuation to the upside, right? If this order block fails to hold price and price takes this low, this is going to be a valid market structure shift. So now playing price forward, what you can see here is that price sweeps the high the more, then you see this market structure shift, then mark this as your market structure shift. Okay, so this is a very valid market structure shift because price closed below this particular low right here. Now where is your order block? This bullish candle right here is your order block. I hope you can actually see it. You see the bullish candle that swept this high, this is your order block. So we're not going to use this because it can actually be refined. Okay, the order block can be refined. You see this is our zone right here. Okay, so this is based on refinement. Okay, we've refined the zone and this is our point of interest, and this is exactly how I usually see my setup. When I see this setup like this, I refine my zone down and wait for price to come back and mitigate this, because this is a reversal pattern. When you see it, you should take advantage of this because this is a very profitable reversal pattern. Now let's see what we have after. Now you see price moved to the downside a little more, and now the price comes back to mitigate the order block. That's after a few days. Then after that, what can we see? You see price moves away from that particular zone, and if I try to press price forward continuation, what can we actually see? We see a little pullback and now a continuation to the downside. So this is where price is currently. Okay, this is exactly where price is currently. Although this particular setup I had it in mind, but price didn't actually get to my point of interest. Why? I refined this zone. So let's delete all these right now and go to the 4 hours time frame. When I get my zone and some of this setup on the higher time frame, I do refine it on the lower time frame. So let's go to the 2 hours time frame and see what we have on the 2 hours time frame, because I had this setup in mind and I shared it to my Telegram community. So this is the 2 hours time frame and this is the setup when I shared it. I have my zone, a refined zone. Okay, so what you can see, this is where I have my liquidity sweep. I hope you can clearly see that. Here is my inducement area. Here is where I got the change of character, the shift in market structure, but price couldn't get to the zone because I refined my zone too much. Okay, I refined my zone too much, and if you try to measure, price missed the zone by about 30 pips. So that's it. This is how I find my trading setups. So let's go to the second example. So here is the second example. So from what you can actually see, price has been in downtrend. We see this push to the downside, a pullback, and a continuation to the downside. Now what you can actually see is that price sweeps the sell side liquidity. See that, and you can actually lap it out as your liquidity sweep. Now let's see what we have. We have a pullback. Okay, so and this is a valid pullback. Now what we want to see is a change of character. If you can actually get one, we have a pullback and a continuation to the downside. Now what you can actually do is you can still mark this as another liquidity sweep. Okay, so this is another liquidity sweep, and if I try to zoom out, you see we have a daily fair value gap, and now price has tapped into a daily fair value gap. So this is another confluence that is going to help this trading opportunity to play out perfectly. Okay, price into the daily fair value gap, another confluence. Now if we get a shift in structure, is gonna be a very good one. Okay, if you see price takes this high, it's going to help us take a trading decision right here, and now we get a change of character right here. Okay, so you can label this your market structure shift. Very important. That's price changing in its character. Okay, so this is our market structure shift in line with the daily fair value gap right here. So what we want to see is price coming back to mitigate this daily zone. Okay, we have this daily order block, and it can actually be refined. If you wish, you can actually refine it down to this candle. Okay, so this is based on personal preference. So if I'm to trade this, I won't trade it on the daily time frame. I will go down to the lower time frame, and I will definitely refine it. That's the way I trade, and I'm just showing you how I get these trading opportunities. You know, most times when you show people your trading opportunity, they don't know how it came about and what led to that. So we have this zone, and you see the candles that gave us a change of character are daily candles with momentum. Now playing price forward, and you see the next candle taps into our daily order block. Now let's see how it goes, and you see price starts to move away after it tapped into this zone multiple times. Okay, so I hope you can see that price taps into the zone multiple times, and you see how price moved away from that area. So this is how I find these trading opportunities, and if you're taking this trade, you should have this in mind, that you have a point of interest right here which could actually hold price. Okay, we have another block right here, very important one, because if you look at your left, we have a liquidity sweep. We have price taking these highs, equal highs right here, a valid liquidity sweep. So have this in mind, that once price gets to this zone, there is going to be a reaction. Okay, so this is simply how I find these trading opportunities. So let me show you the next example. So here is another example. What can we actually see over here? What do we see price do? Price pushing to the downside, and we have a low right here. Okay, see we have a low, and now we have a valid pullback. So if price takes this low, it's going to be a liquidity sweep, right? And if price takes this high, it's going to be a market structure shift. Now let's see. Now we pull back, and now price sweeps the low. Okay, you see how price sweeps the low, which is what we want to see. Price comes lower a little more, and we see a more clean close below this particular low. Now price is pulling back to the upside, and right now we have the market structure shift. We have fair value gaps right here. Now what you're going to do is you map out your point of interest, look to trade from there. So this series of candles, you see this bearish candle, and you see this wicks. These are zone, the order block, but in this case, these candles, some of them doesn't have full body. Now we might consider this one right here, this last one over here. So let's use this as our order block. So this is a kind of a refined zone. Okay, now playing price forward, and you see how it moves. Price returns, mitigates the order block, making sure that the inefficiency right here has been filled, and now we have a push to the upside which takes this high, and now we having a pullback right now and a kind of consolidation. See price consolidating at this particular area. So if price pulls back, because once we see this reversal and this shift, in some cases you might see price changing its direction. Now you can mark here as another zone which you could look to trade from if you wish to trade the continuation to the upside, right? Let's see if you can actually get. And now you see after the accumulation build of liquidity over there, price comes, mitigate this zone, and you see how powerful it is. Price moves to the upside, moving away from that point of interest. So this is a simple pattern which repeats in the market, and this is exactly how I find my trading opportunity. A lot of people will build on this. People who understand what I'm explaining, they will build on this, and those who don't might still watch and they won't take advantage of this. So I'll show you another example. So this is another example, and it could be the last example. Okay, so looking closely, from what you can see, we have a low right here, and we equally have a high, right? Like I say, if price takes the low, this is going to be a liquidity sweep, and if price comes back to take this, it's going to be a structure shift. Now, this is what I want you to note. If price takes this low, price push from this area and it takes this low, okay? If price takes this low and it fails to take this high, okay, don't consider to trade this. Price might sweep liquidity, and what we're going to see is price pulling back. We might see a pullback that might not actually get to this, and after that we might see a continuation to the downside. Okay, we might see something like this. If you see this, don't look to trade this. The only time you're going to consider looking to trade from this kind of setup is if price continues to the upside and take this particular high right here. I hope you get what I'm explaining. If price takes the low, sweeps the liquidity and takes this high, you could consider and look to trade this setup. Okay, this is what I'm teaching. Now, playing price forward, and you see we get the liquidity sweep, and if price takes the high, that's a market structure shift. Very simple. Now let's see how it goes, and you see, boom, price takes the high. Now, here is your zone if you want to trade. This series of candle that swept the low is your order block. Very simple. So if you try to refine your order block, this is going to be your order block which you're going to look to trade from. And if you want to do it correctly, this should be the original order block right here. Now let's press price forward. But we have price mitigates this order block. It couldn't get to the lower one. Okay, this one at this low, price couldn't get to this lower one. What price just did in this particular example is that it comes mitigates the higher order block, filled some inefficiency, because if you try to look, we have an imbalance right here. See, a very large imbalance. Price filled it a little, and now price is moving away. So from what I showed you from the last example, if you wanted to consider another setup, this is where we have another breakout structure, and if you wanted to trade again, this could be another place you could look. If you try to consider this week, okay, this could be another place you could look to enter again. So this is how to trade the continuation, and this is how to find trading opportunities. Very simple. And you see, price comes back, mitigates this, and now price moves away. Very easy and very precise. A very profitable pattern. Like I said, go back to your price charts, back test it, and try to understand it better. Try to understand better. Once you understand it, you're gonna enjoy trading with this particular setup. Okay, so that's it, and I hope you got value. If you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to the channel. Over here I teach about smart money strategy and how you can be profitable using smart money concepts. Okay, so consider subscribing to the channel, and see you in the next video.